If we was to fight right now on the streets, I'll break your fucking neck. And that's on my kids. And you know it, I know it, and the whole world know it. And I'm not talking about no fighting in the ring. If me and you was to fight outside, I will break your...
The London Ring Awards were meant to honor boxing's greatest talents, a dazzling event where the sport's biggest stars gathered to celebrate their success. But amid all the glitz and famous faces, one glaring absence stood out: Tank Davis. While boxing's biggest stars graced the red carpet, Tank Davis was noticeably missing, and his absence quickly became the buzz of the night. It didn't take long for Tank to speak up, and in true Tank style, he didn't mince words. From taking shots at his rivals to targeting Crawford, his fiery exchanges with Crawford are only intensifying. Davis's absence wasn't just apparent, it made waves. The lightweight champion, famous for his knockout power and bold personality, was clearly upset about being excluded from the guest list. He didn't stay silent, taking to social media to vent his frustration in a series of posts that were quickly deleted. However, by the time they vanished, the impact had already spread. Fans and reporters had captured screenshots, ensuring Davis's words were out in the open. Tank's frustration spread like wildfire. Why didn't they invite everyone? He questioned in one post. But they invited the ones they deal with? Get out of here. Stop faking. His words were blunt, cutting straight to the point, leaving no doubt about his anger. But Tank wasn't done. In another fiery post, he set his sights on Eddie Hearn, calling him a little rat and accusing him of pretending to be a key player in the boxing world. What made Davis's rant even more explosive was his pointed criticism of the Riyadh season organizers. Without naming names, Tank made it crystal clear he disapproved of their approach to boxing. They want to act like this guy is good for boxing. But he's not, Davis wrote. If he is, why isn't he building up the people where he's from? This guy knows nothing about boxing, and this is who they're turning to. While he avoided specifics, fans quickly pieced it together, suspecting he was referring to Saudi Arabia's increasing role in the sport. The most controversial part of Tank's tirade, however, came when he took a swipe at fighters heading overseas for big paychecks. Unlike me, he said, a lot of these fighters leave home for Saudi money, but what do they really get? Hardly anyone even shows up to watch their fights. It was a cutting remark, seemingly mocking those who've accepted lucrative offers to fight in Saudi Arabia, a trend that's been gaining momentum in recent years.
What he's about, he's all about making the big fights happen, and I'm all for that, you know. But I've got a team, you know, I've got a professional team with me, and everything's...
As expected, Davis's comments sparked intense reactions across the boxing world. Some fans sided with him, agreeing that he raised valid points about the state of the sport. Others, however, accused him of being bitter and envious over his exclusion from the London Ring Awards. Regardless of the truth, it was undeniable that Tank's words struck a chord. One person who wasted no time responding was Terence "Bud" Crawford, the reigning undisputed welterweight champion and no stranger to verbal sparring with Davis. Crawford, who attended the London Ring Awards and met with Turki Al-Sheikh during the event, couldn't resist taking a jab at Tank. Looks like somebody's mad they didn't get an invite to the Ring magazine gala, Crawford posted on social media, further igniting the fire. Fans quickly pointed out the long-standing rivalry between the two fighters. This wasn't the first time Crawford had taken aim at Davis. After Crawford's dominant victory over Errol Spence Jr., Tank had claimed he could take Crawford out at 147 pounds. Crawford's response was measured but sharp. Tank is a great fighter, but there are levels in boxing, he said in an interview. If he thinks he can just move up to 147 and knock me out, he's in for a rude awakening.
About that fight, is it even possible at a catch weight?
There ain't no catch weight. You come up to 47.
You're not even entertaining a catch weight.
No, I'm not.
He's a champ though too, undefeated.
And What champ? Come on, man. Tell me what belt. You know boxing. You forgot Devin Haney is undisputed. Devin Haney got all the belts. He the champ. Nobody else the champ. I'm going to come up here where the big boys at.
All right.
The back and forth between the two champions has sparked talk of a potential showdown, but the likelihood of a Davis versus Crawford fight actually happening seems low. Crawford is focused on bigger opportunities, with the most notable being a rumored mega fight against Canelo Alvarez. After meeting with Al Sheikh, reports suggest Crawford is nearing a deal to face Canelo later this year, a matchup that could become one of the biggest in boxing history. Meanwhile, Davis is heading in a different direction. He's scheduled to face Lamont Roach Jr. on March 1st, a fight most expect him to win. But for Tank, it's not just about what happens inside the ring.
Y'all can do whatever y'all want. My mother, he can't stop nothing over here.
None of that.
Not at all.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna f him up.
Not at all. Never.
Tank's recent social media outbursts reveal that he's just as focused on his image and how he's viewed in the boxing world. In one of his now-deleted posts, Davis accused the London Ring Awards organizers of overlooking true talent in the sport. They only care about certain fighters, he wrote, the ones they can control. The rest of us, they don't even try to understand what we bring to the table. Critics of Tank argue that he's simply upset about being excluded from the event. After all, he's one of the biggest names in boxing, and being left out of such a high-profile gathering surely stung. But his supporters see things in a different light.
Who's got more money, Bud Crawford or Tank Davis? You guys are fighting over this on Twitter, calling each other names and liars, and you're capping and you're...
Many believe Davis is speaking out against a system he feels is unjust, and they admire him for having the courage to call it out. On the other hand, Crawford appears unfazed by the drama. His focus is solely on his next challenge, and he's not letting Tank's words distract him. But despite Crawford brushing off Davis's comments, the idea of a fight between the two still sparks excitement. Both are incredibly talented fighters with contrasting styles, Davis with his explosive power and aggression, and Crawford with his technical prowess and sharp ring IQ. If they ever squared off, it would surely be a fight for the ages.
That's why I respect Tank. Hey, Tank, you got a new fan, dog. You got a new fan. You a real one, dog. As of late, you've been showing me you a real one. I like that. Yes, you've been showing me that you are a real one. Now, if you go over there and take back everything you said, and you...
For now, fans will have to settle for the upcoming fights. Davis versus Roach is shaping up to be an exciting showdown, while Crawford versus Canelo could become a blockbuster event. But even with these high-profile bouts on the horizon, the war of words between Davis and Crawford shows no signs of slowing down. What adds another layer of intrigue to this is Davis's earlier announcement about retiring by 2025. Last year, during a press conference, he revealed that he didn't plan to fight beyond that date. "I've given my all to this sport," he said at the time.
You sparred Tank, you faced Crawford. Tank said he'd stop Crawford in 6 rounds.
Yeah.
What happens if they were to fight?
I don't think Tank will stop Crawford. I think that that's a big bully up there at 147.
But if Davis plans to retire soon, why does he care so much about not being invited to an award show? That's a question many fans are asking, and only Davis can truly answer. In one of his most controversial deleted posts, Tank didn't hold back, taking aim at everyone who attended the awards. "Y'all suckers for Saudi money," he wrote, making a direct jab at fighters he accused of selling out for big paydays. Whether you agree with him or not, one thing's for sure: Tank knows how to stir the pot. Davis, known for his blunt remarks, once again took issue with Crawford's claim of chasing greatness, quickly questioning his motives in a series of now-deleted posts. Tank challenged Crawford's financial situation, casting doubt on whether his pursuit of legacy was as genuine as it appeared. "I still make more than you," Davis wrote in one post, implying that Crawford's earnings weren't as impressive as people believed. "Y'all think he's chasing greatness? He's not. That's just what he has to do to make decent money." Tank's words painted Crawford as someone less focused on building a lasting legacy and more focused on securing paychecks through high-profile bouts. This wasn't a casual critique. It was a direct attack on Crawford's reputation as one of boxing's elite, suggesting his motivations might not be as noble as fans assume. The remarks didn't stop there. Davis has also made his disapproval clear about the rumored fight between Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. For Tank, such a matchup is less about genuine competition and more about Crawford chasing a big payday. Davis isn't alone in this view. His trainer, Calvin Ford, has also expressed doubts about Crawford's intentions and abilities when it comes to facing someone like Canelo. Speaking with Fight Hype, Ford shared his thoughts on the potential showdown. While he acknowledged the significance of the fight, he leaned toward Canelo as the likely winner. Canelo is the king, Ford said, showing clear respect for the Mexican superstar. It's a good fight, and I'd like to see it, but in the end, Canelo has been making some smart moves with his fights.
Canelo's the king, whatever he say, you know what I'm saying? But it's a good fight. I like to see that fight, the outcome of it, you know what I'm saying? And then watching Canelo been making some good moves, you know, as far as fights and whatnot, you know? So, again, he's the king, you know what I'm saying? So
Ford's response was a bit more laid back, but still respectful. Whatever he says, you know what I'm saying, but it's a good fight. I'd like to see that fight and see how it turns out. Watching Canelo, he's been making some good moves with his fights and all that. So, again, he's the king. You get what I'm saying? His words showed clear respect for Canelo's career and his current standing in the sport.
Heard of a fight with you and Terence Crawford? It would be one of the biggest in boxing.
We don't talking about yet about the fight. Me and Turkarash know each other, and then we wanna.
Ford remained optimistic about the matchup, but also expressed concerns about Crawford's recent performance. Crawford's move up to 154 pounds to face Israil Madrimov caught a lot of attention, and while Crawford secured the win, he didn't deliver the dominant finish many had expected. Ford offered his take, saying it was his first fight at that weight. You can't say he didn't carry the power up there. He just had to make adjustments. However, Ford wasn't ready to fully back Crawford's move to higher weight classes. He compared Crawford's situation to fighters like David Benavidez, who have also faced challenges with weight adjustments. It's about making the right adjustments, Ford explained. I hope Terence Crawford gets another fight at that weight to show the world he's got it. If not, then we might need to start questioning.
They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. You know, so let's not do that, Canelo.
Ford's analysis didn't just focus on Crawford's abilities. It also touched on his motivations. The veteran trainer believes Crawford is moving up in weight mainly to secure the Canelo fight, a bout that would not only bring a huge payday but also help cement his legacy. Terence is a bad boy, Ford acknowledged, recognizing Crawford's skill and determination. He's moving up because he wants the fight. He's not getting any younger, and he's doing everything he can to secure his legacy. While Ford's comments were respectful, they echoed Davis's criticism of Crawford's motivations. Both Davis and Ford seem to suggest that Crawford's move isn't solely about pursuing greatness, it's also about the money. This perspective adds even more fuel to the heated debate surrounding the potential Crawford-Canelo fight. Is Crawford genuinely chasing legacy by stepping up to face one of boxing's biggest names? Or is he making a calculated financial move as his career nears its twilight?
For that fight, it's the same for me. I don't need to take that fight because then everybody's gonna say it's too small, it's too small, it's too small, and then, you know, he needs to enjoy his fight.
Okay. For Davis and Ford, the answer seems clear. Crawford's decisions are just as much about securing his financial future as they are about solidifying his place in boxing history. Ford's focus on Crawford's age and the need to make moves quickly highlights this point. While there's no denying Crawford's talent and accomplishments, Davis and Ford's critique shines a light on a growing divide in how fighters approach their careers. Some chase greatness through pure dominance and consistency, while others seek legacy-defining bouts that also bring in big paydays. This isn't the first time Crawford's motivations have been questioned. But with Davis and Ford now adding their voices to the mix, the controversy surrounding a potential fight with Canelo has only intensified.
He said, I got a glass chin. Tell him to come and touch it.
At 147?
At 147. I'll make 147 for him.
Ooh, see? Oh, man.
You're going to have a pre-camp.
Whether fans agree with Davis and Ford or support Crawford's defenders, one thing is clear. The boxing world will be watching closely to see how this story plays out. For now, the debate rages on, with Davis and Ford firmly sticking to their belief that Crawford is after more than just greatness. Terence Crawford and Gervonta Davis have both carved out legendary careers in boxing, each dominating their respective weight classes at different points in time. Though they are currently 3 weight divisions apart, the idea of a hypothetical matchup between the two has sparked conversations among fans and experts. One voice that stands out in this discussion is the legendary Roy Jones Jr., who provided a thoughtful and intriguing analysis of what a fight between Crawford and Davis might look like.
Yeah, because a lot of people are saying, like, hey, forget about Canelo. That was a tough fight with Madrimov. Go ahead and give Boots a shot. Give Boots the chance. But Eddie's saying, hey, I think Crawford's saying, hey, give me the Canelo fight or I'm not fighting. I'm done.
Why? What does he got to prove to Boots? Boots trying to take over and start beating the guys around him, prove that he's the best of that group. Bud is in a group above him. Bud don't need to come back down to 47 to meet him. That's crazy.
Crawford started his career at lightweight, the same division where Davis currently reigns as a world champion. As Crawford climbed through the weight classes, he made history by becoming the undisputed champion at super lightweight, a division in which Davis has also held a title. Crawford then continued his rise, clearing out the welterweight division and recently debuting at 154 pounds. Meanwhile, Davis has remained dominant at 135 pounds, holding the WBA world title and building a reputation for knocking out nearly everyone who steps into the ring with him. Despite the size and weight differences, Davis once boldly claimed he could knock Crawford out. Although this statement may have been made in jest, it sparked a wave of speculation. Crawford, the bigger and more experienced fighter, has brushed off the idea of Davis punching above his weight. However, Roy Jones Jr. believes the matchup might not be as far-fetched as it seems.
I got a question for you, Tank. At 147, how does a fight with you and Terence Crawford look?
147?
147.
I tapped that chin. You know he going to sleep.
I already know. I already know
he ain't got no chance.
I already know he is.
Speaking with Real Life Productions, Jones shared a perspective that might surprise some. "That's a good damn fight," Jones said, immediately grabbing the attention of fans. The former multi-division champion acknowledged the size difference between Crawford and Davis, but suggested that if the fight were set at a catch weight of around 145 pounds, it could be highly competitive. Jones pointed out that both Crawford and Davis have unique qualities that could make the hypothetical bout intriguing. "I don't see anybody around that's going to beat Bud unless it's someone way bigger than him. But don't sleep on the fact that if he and Tank fought at about 145, that's a good damn fight. You understand me?" Jones explained. His belief that Davis could pose a legitimate threat to Crawford stems from the one thing that sets Tank apart: his explosiveness. Jones emphasized how crucial explosiveness is in boxing, particularly when it comes to leveling the playing field between fighters of different sizes.
Listen, Crawford is a beast. I don't think nobody in their right mind is getting in the ring with Crawford after the performance. Spencer was the best competition that Crawford could have faced.
They both have very high IQs, and Tank is very explosive, Jones noted, highlighting the one thing that Tank has that Errol Spence Jr. didn't: explosiveness. An explosive fighter can go a lot of places. This insight draws from Jones's own experience as a boxer who moved through multiple weight classes. He credited his own success to his explosiveness, which allowed him to challenge and defeat opponents who were naturally bigger than him. "Explosiveness keeps people in check," Jones said, emphasizing how Davis's ability to generate power and deliver it quickly could give Crawford problems in the ring. While Crawford's boxing IQ and technical skills are well known, Jones believes Tank's explosive style could make the fight unpredictable and dangerous for both fighters.
Right? Yeah. And I got a metal shield. And the opposite person got a glass shield. Okay, champ. Who gonna come on top? The guy with the metal shield.
If Davis sticks to his retirement timeline, the hypothetical clash with Crawford will remain just that, a hypothetical. Even so, the idea of Crawford and Davis sharing a ring continues to captivate fans and analysts alike. Jones's insights add depth to the conversation, reminding everyone that in boxing, nothing is ever entirely certain. The sport has a way of surprising even the most knowledgeable observers, and while the size difference between Crawford and Davis makes a fight seem unlikely, the potential for fireworks, as Jones put it, is undeniable. For now, fans can only imagine what might happen if these two pound-for-pound stars ever crossed paths. How do you see this playing out? Do you think Tank was right? And what do you think the future of boxing looks like with the Saudis in the picture? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more updates.